So, thank you for doing this, by the way. We're trying to get into this a little bit more, so you're kind of the first test dummy, so to speak. So we're going to start with, first of all, what is your name? How did you hear about our centre, and how long have you been coming?
Thanks, Zach. My name's Miriam. How I found the Wellness Centre is quite interesting because, as you know, we've just had Christmas, and my daughter-in-law told me that for Kris Kringle, she would like to have a voucher from the Wellness Centre so that she can use that throughout the year. And I thought, oh, this Wellness Centre, I actually haven't heard of them, don't know what they're about. So I actually went online to check you guys out, and not only could I see that you could buy vouchers for gifts, but I also began to read through and research what you had online and was quite fascinated by what you were offering with the EES systems, etc. And, I've always held quite closely for many, many years that our health is our responsibility. We've got to take responsibility in a proactive way. And, I'd been facing into a few little health issues last year, so gave you guys a call. And so my daughter-in-law got the voucher, and I purchased one of your fast track weeks to give it a go. So that's how I've got here.
You've already sort of touched on it now, but I was going to ask what outcomes or ideal circumstance or things that you're hoping to achieve from coming into the centre. Yeah, what were those outcomes that you were looking for?
Look, for me, outcomes were very much around having more energy. It was about, I just think, a reset, feeling like there was elements of fatigue, there were elements of just not quite feeling right in spite of good diet, in spite of exercising regularly, in spite of having a vitamins and supplement regime. So for me, it was to look at it and to test it, and to and recognizing that, particularly at my age, life happens. And it's not only about our physical well-being, it's our spiritual and our emotional well-being. And I started to read a lot of the testimonials and hear some testimonials around just some of that emotional rebalancing and, understanding how sometimes trauma in our life can actually impact us, and we may not be able to put a name to it or a label to it, but we carry that around with us. And sometimes if we don't deal with those things, we bleed out. And so I just wanted to create time and space by coming here that was mine, fiercely guarded, in which I could give that time and space to myself and to just let that reset happen naturally.
And the next question is, what modalities have you used at our centre?
Okay, the first thing I did was I took on the fast track, the 1 week. It's almost like a baptism in fire that you have. That's the first thing that I've done with the EE systems. I then eventually started to pick up on the Brown's gas and have worked my way and eased my way through that. And, I found, particularly after the first session, the next day, this energy, it's like I became alive. It was just like, wow, where did this come from? I've also been using the ketone water, thank you. Again, did my research and started out with just the normal regular light blue pack. Yeah, it was okay, that was fine. And spoke to Jazz, and she recommended, because I was swimming and I do a lot of exercise and I just wanted that extra little boost. Well, my God. I got into it the first 2 or 3 days, and I think for me one of the most outstanding things is I do swim. I swim for fitness, and found it very difficult over the last probably 10 months to crack the 2K mark. And now I've been up to the 2.5, pushing up to the 3K mark with swimming, and it comes easy. No body aches afterwards. This is a miracle potion, and I just am overwhelmed by the impact of that one particularly. I've also taken on board the natural deodorant that you've got here. That's been great. Smells really good. Again, chemical free, and and obviously the bath salts that are there, and again, that's just the final stage in the detox process. And so all of it, I think, bundled together, for me, I can see those shifts happening and those shifts taking place, which is really good.
First of all, that's an amazing experience that you've had. And I'm curious if there's any other examples too that you've noticed the combination of the energy enhancement system, the Brown's gas, the ketone hypertonic, the other things that you're doing as well. The swimming is such an amazing benefit. That's amazing, and people will love to hear that. But if there's anything else as well that you wanted to share, that would be amazing to hear.
I think initially I was a little bit wary, and cynical is not the word, because I do believe that alternative medicines and alternative approaches to our well-being are fabulous, and we need to embrace them. And so embarking on my journey coming into the Wellness Centre, we had to fill out a questionnaire about some of the issues that we were actually facing at the time. So for me particularly, I had been experiencing acute dizziness from July, August. That resulted in me going to my GP, having head scans. Yes, I do have a brain. And I've been under the care of an ENT for a long time. So for me, the dizziness, the sinus, the allergy aspect of it was really critical. And I can tell you now, it would have probably been 2.5 weeks ago, I just realised that I'm actually not dizzy anymore. And it was so bad that my husband would have to hold my hand when I was walking downstairs. And, he just said to me, has things settled down? And I just realised that I wasn't dizzy anymore. I put it down to this, because on the first day that I came here and spent time in the room, I could feel the tingling through the problem areas in my sinuses, in through my ears were popping, and I believed that something was happening and something was shifting. That's probably the most critical thing that I've become aware of in the last 2 or 3 weeks. The other thing that I've found, and we talked earlier about our emotional well-being and spiritual well-being, that's a priority in my life. And I found that when I came here for the first few sessions, that I would just sit in the chair and I would begin to cry. And, I'm just thinking, where's this come from? Everything's all okay. I feel happy. I feel fine. But there would just be tears that would run. And through the meditation time that we actually have the opportunity to immerse ourselves in the 2-hour block that I use, I believe that there was some resetting in all of that, and just a real sense of digging deep into that inner resource that we have within us, our own spirituality. And so the offset of that is a sense of calmness. There's been some fairly erratic situations that have happened over Christmas time and over the holiday time, and my ability to approach those with a sense of calm has been there. And I can tell you, I've gone through a year of not being able to master that. So for me, I just think that in itself has been a real blessing.
Thank you so much for sharing all of those things. That is really remarkable, and I think that so many would love to hear your experience. And I love that it's not just the physical, but also emotional and spiritual as well. It's really remarkable to hear. So thank you. The last question I have is just if there's anything that you would say to someone who's considering to try out the centre, to try out that fast charge 7-day trial, is not really sure about what's going on here, maybe a bit skeptic, anything like that, if there's anything that you would say to those kind of people, whether they're friends, family, or otherwise.
Yeah, look, I think for me, I kind of feel that the things that we don't understand in life, the things that we perhaps haven't educated ourselves in, creates a cynical part of us, and it creates a skepticism that we think, that doesn't work. And I guess for me, I've always been willing to research and look at things differently and, have my eyes open to new things, because I know that the rest of the world outside of Australia particularly, have mastered so many different areas of our health and our well-being, and we can learn from that. And it doesn't always have to be about pharmaceuticals and medical-based drugs. They have their time, they have their place, and it is about prevention, as I've said. So my word of encouragement to anybody who is looking at this is to give it a go. The team here are really great in working with you around your affordability, what you're capable of doing within the timeframes that you have. Chat with them honestly about what you're looking for and give it a go. For me, it's not coming into a place like this where, fortunately I'm not chronically ill. I'm grateful for that. But I'm also mindful that as we age, that I want to age well, and I want that sense of well-being and in my mind, in my spirit, in my soul, and in my body. And that's a really important thing, an important aspect for me. So I would encourage people to give it a go. I would encourage people to look at what they are currently spending in other places on their health and their well-being. Do a checklist like we do with our insurances. Are those things working for me? Are they not? And if they're not, try something different. Try the wellness centre and give it a go. You don't realise that you're living with things until they're no longer there, and you think, what happened? That's no longer there. It's gone. And so I would encourage anybody to give it a go, because I think it certainly has its merits.
Thank you so much, Miriam. Thank you for your time and what you shared as well. And as she said, if you're interested in trying out the Wellness Centre for yourself, whether it's the energy enhancement system or one of the other modalities here, feel free to give us a call on 0422 571 117, or send us a message, whether this is on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you're seeing it. Yeah, drop a comment, send us a message, whatever works for you. And we'd love to connect and to see if we can help you with your circumstance.